house was quiet that night. Too quiet. It was the kind of silence that felt heavy, pressing down on you until every creak of the floor or whisper of the wind seemed magnified. I lived in this house with my sister, though we hardly crossed paths. It was a mother-daughter setup. 2 floors, 2 kitchens. She stayed downstairs while I had the upper floor. Most nights, though, she wasn't home. Her boyfriend's place was 20 miles away, and she spent most of her time there. That night was no different. Being alone never used to bother me. At 30 years old, you'd think I'd be past all that childhood fear of the dark. But even now, there were moments when the emptiness of the house felt oppressive, like it was waiting for something or someone. It was just after midnight, and I was on the couch, half watching some old horror movie. My part of the house had an open layout, with the living room, dining room and kitchen flowing into one large space. The couch was positioned in the center of the room, and as I stared at the TV, my back was to the vast, dark emptiness behind me. Every so often I'd glance over my shoulder, half expecting to see something lurking in the shadows. I told myself it was the movie messing with me, but the unease clung to me like static electricity. Finally, I decided I'd had enough. I turned off the TV, brushed my teeth, and plunged the house into darkness before heading to bed. Sleep didn't come easy, and when it did, it didn't last long. I woke up abruptly, groggy and disoriented. The red numbers on the clock read 1:03 a.m. I rubbed my eyes, trying to figure out what had woken me, when I heard it. A voice. "Ryan?" It was faint, but unmistakable. My sister. I froze, my heart pounding. She sounded like she was inside the house, but that didn't make sense. She hadn't said she'd be home tonight. And if she had come back, why was she calling for me in the middle of the night? "Ryan, are you up?" Her voice floated up again, clearer this time, from downstairs. Still groggy and confused, I swung my legs over the side of the bed and shuffled into the hallway. The house was pitch black, and I fumbled for the light switch, my mind trying to rationalize what I'd heard. Maybe she'd gotten into an argument with her boyfriend and come back late. That had to be it. The hallway light flickered on, casting long, eerie shadows. I made my way through the living room, pausing when her voice called again. This time, it was sharper, almost urgent. "Ryan, come down here," I called back, my voice cracking slightly. "What is it?" No answer, just silence. Against every instinct telling me to stay put, I headed downstairs. The darkness seemed thicker there, as if the light from upstairs couldn't reach. I fumbled along the wall, searching for the light switch in the foyer. My fingers finally found it, and with a click, the kitchen light hummed to life, starting dim before brightening. Her little apartment was empty. The couch, the dining table, the kitchen counter, everything was exactly as it should be. No sign of her. My pulse quickened as I moved toward her bedroom, calling her name again. Nothing. The room was as I'd expected. Bed neatly made. No signs of her or her boyfriend. For a moment, I stood there in the doorway, convincing myself I'd imagined it. Then, something shattered the silence. A loud thud. It came from her bedroom, the same bedroom I was standing in. I whipped around, my eyes scanning every corner. Nothing had fallen. Nothing was out of place. The sound had been real, though. I was sure of it. My breath came in short gasps as I backed out of the room, refusing to turn my back on the empty space. I bolted upstairs, slamming the door to my bedroom and locking it. Grabbing my phone, I dialed her number. No answer. I called again and again. Still nothing. The clock on my nightstand seemed to tick louder with each passing second, amplifying the oppressive silence that had taken over the house. I sat there, clutching my phone, willing her to answer. Eventually, exhaustion won. Somehow, I fell into a restless sleep. When I woke up, sunlight was streaming through the blinds. The events of the night before felt distant, like a bad dream. My phone buzzed on the nightstand, a text from my sister. "Why did you call me at 1 a.m.? I stared at the screen, my blood running cold. "Were you home last night?" I typed back, my hands trembling. Her reply came almost instantly. "No, I stayed at Mark's place. Why? I didn't respond. Instead, I forced myself to go back downstairs, back to her bedroom. The memory of that thud was fresh in my mind as I scanned the floor, searching for anything that could have made the noise. But there was nothing. Not a single object was out of place. I wanted to believe I'd imagined it all, the voice, the sound, everything. But it felt too vivid, too real. And if it wasn't my imagination, then what was it? I haven't told her about that night. I'm not sure I ever will. Some things are better left unsaid, especially when the alternative is too terrifying to consider.